you're gonna get knocked down so many times, sometimes multiple times in like a day or even an hour, you know? But get right back up, brush it off, and just keep pushing forward.
Hey, it's Jesse. In celebration of World Pride, Stonewall 50, and the release of my new song, Listen, I've been sitting down with some of my friends to hear their stories and experiences, and today I got to sit down with the dope New York City drag queen and politician, Marti Gould Cummings. We had a little heart-to-heart, and I hope you guys enjoy.
I'm Marti Gould Cummings. I've lived in New York for 14 years, and I've been a drag queen for about a decade, and I'm also a politician who serves on the Mayor's Nightlife Advisory Council, and I love New York. Reflecting on 50 years of Stonewall is a really moving and emotional kind of thing to look back on, you know. In 50 years we've come a long way, but we have a long way to go still, you know. And I come from like a privileged background as like a cis presenting white person, you know. You have to look at these like young kids who, there's marginalized groups within our marginalized group. And so you look at these people, trans women of color who are being murdered, and I just think, you know, that's like now like the struggle, not for me personally, but I think for the community at large to be heard is like, hey, there are people within our community who are being killed. What are we doing about this? What can we do to like fight this issue? And so I think that's like the larger issue to be heard right now. A lot of people think it's like kind of unusual that a drag queen is in politics and is pursuing a career in politics, you know? But I think it's like the perfect trajectory. Drag has like absolutely led me to where I am today, in the sense that like drag has always been at the forefront of politics. I think it's led me to this, and people might think it's a weird trajectory, but I think it's exactly what the universe had in store for me. And I think it is my calling and my path in life to use my drag platform and privilege I have of having a microphone in my hand every day to educate people and let them know that their voice matters and can be heard and should be heard. And I love the saying, if there's not a seat at the table, like just make your own table or bring a folding chair, you know? Like, there's no reason for queer voices not to be heard. And I look forward to being that representative for people. For me, I think the biggest hardship I face as a drag queen or a political activist or somebody trying to use my voice is people who are progressive, who may not necessarily be as progressive as they publicly say, encounter you in a one-on-one situation or at an event, and I don't think laugh at you is the right word, but they don't take you seriously until they see the audience's reaction to the words you say. You know, you have to follow in the footsteps. For me, from my experience, I don't want to speak for anybody else, I have to follow in the footsteps of Harvey Milk and Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera and these leaders who, you know, went against the grain of society and said, you know, we're not gonna be pushed down anymore. And I've had many instances, I won't name names, but I've had many instances where there's been like chiefs of staff and elected officials who basically told me like I have no place here, and like to just sit down and shut up and go do my drag shows. I have every right to use my voice, and I have every right to run for office and to be somebody who can fight for people, because if you're not doing the job and you're saying you're progressive, but behind the scenes you're thinking somebody who looks or acts like me isn't suitable for the job, then you're not truly progressive. I'll say this, my biggest like advice to, and I don't even say young people, because you can find your voice at any age. If you're 99 years old and you're out there like knocking on doors to like get stuff done, like you're fighting for the next generation, and that's so important. So my advice is like, you're gonna get knocked down so many times, sometimes multiple times in like a day or even an hour, but get right back up, brush it off, and just keep pushing forward. Activism is not glamorous. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, I make it look glamorous, but that's like what you see on social media, you know? But like the work is hard, but it's so important. And so my advice is just like, we have to push forward. We have to move forward, because Stonewall 50 was the start of something that was carried on from the Mattachine sit-ins. And I encourage everybody to look up the Mattachine sit-ins and what that was 4 years before Stonewall, you know? But just today, the day that we're filming this will air later, but the day that we're filming this in the state of New York, it just now, today, in 2019, it took until now to make it illegal to use the trans or gay panic defense in court. It's 2019 and we're just now changing that law. So that's New York's the most progressive state. So if it's just now happening in New York, think of what's happening in all the other states and territories in our country. So we have a lot of work to do. We have, in Pride Month, World Pride, we've had 6 trans women of color murdered in Pride Month alone, 11 since the start of the year. And those are the ones we know about. So the fight is far from over, and it's our job to pull up our bootstraps and get to work, because nobody else is going to do it for us.